Hey everyone, welcome to your learning journey today. And today it's a very interesting topic and it's on blockchain. If you have been someone who is following the trending technology news, the blockchain industry is in a blooming right now. And it's one of the technology where we are seeing a lot of opportunities for the developers, and it's one of the fast growing and also one of the highest paid fields in the technology domain right now, with an average salary around $155,000 per year. And this is what I'm talking about in San Francisco and New York. Now, as we proceed in today's session, I'll help you understand what exactly is this blockchain and how it is going to help us. So let me just give you a first basic introduction about what exactly is a blockchain. I'll give you an analogy. I'll give you an analogy to help you understand how does this blockchain is going to work. So let's take an example and let's take up the bank. Okay, suppose we've got someone and her name is Alice. Okay, we've got an Alice and Alice wants to send the money to a Bob. And what she's going to do, she's going to do a wire transfer, or you can say she's going to send the payment through NEFT, and she's going to send the payment to the Bob, and she is sending through the bank, and assuming that she's using the NEFT payment method. That is what she's doing. Now, what is happening in this scenario is all of her money, that is all of this Alice's money, is stored inside the bank, which has actually two primary purpose. One, it keeps track of how much money she actually has. And another thing is, this bank, it also provides an online portal which allows her to perform the wire transfer to Bob. So whenever this Alice authorizes the wire transfer or authorizes the NEFT transaction from her Indian sense, her bank is going to process the transaction and it is going to transfer the money from her account and credits the Bob's account. For example, if she is sending 1000 rupees, so 1000 rupees will be deducted from the Alice account and 1000 rupees will be credited to the Bob account. Now here, behind the scenes, the bank has actually two primary technical features which makes it possible. One, if I talk about this bank, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll open up my OneNote so that I can explain you in a better way. So we've been talking about Alice. So we've got a lady called Alice and we've got Bob, and she's planning to send 1000 rupees to Bob, and in order to do this she is currently making use of bank, and when she does the transaction, so 1000 rupees will be deducted from the Alice account, 1000 rupees will be credited to the Bob's account. Now we are talking from the bank's perspective right now. From the bank's perspective, in order to make this happen, the bank behind the scenes, it basically has two technical features. One, it has got database. So this database is a place where the bank maintains a database ledger of all the Alice's transaction to determine her current account balance and the transaction history. Let's say the Alice has got her salary and she decided that she spent everything on her shopping. Now all that shopping, everything that is being done to ensure that money is debited, money is credited when she's getting the salary, every transaction is being maintained in my database ledger. So in any instant, it is going to have an updated information over there. And also this bank has a network. So this bank has a network as well. So the bank, it actually uses the network to process the wire transfer or the NEFT transfer so that the funds can be transferred from her account to the Bob's account. Because there can be a scenario where the account which Bob has, it might not be present in the same account. Let's suppose this Alice, she has an account in SBI, and if I have got this Bob is having an account in ICICI Bank, so it has to use some kind of a network to send this amount from SBI to the ICICI Bank. So this is what a network is all about. Now here, with this network, it gives, with the help, like when I say network, it's like the overall benefit that we have. You can think of them as a front end as well. So with this front end, it will give the online portal to Alice so that she can connect to that online portal, and she can also send that money to the Bob. Now, when we talk about the blockchain, this blockchain presents an alternative to this model by eliminating the bank altogether. So in order to transfer from my account to the Bob's account, or from Alice's account to the Bob's account, with the help of this blockchain, I don't require a bank itself. Now, what I'll be doing in this scenario? So instead of sending the money to Bob via wire transfer, what she can do is she can send him the cryptocurrency directly with a blockchain. So she can send cryptocurrency. Okay, she can send cryptocurrency where she can send directly to the Bob. Much like the bank, this blockchain gives her a place to safely store her funds and also send money to the Bob. So what exactly it is doing is, primarily it is replacing the two primary technical features of the bank, that is the database and the network. So the database, which keeps track of how much money Alice has, and the network where the Alice can connect to a blockchain in order to send the money. When she does, the blockchain processes her transaction and moves the funds from her account to the Bob's account. And these two things, which she was doing with the bank, now she can do it with blockchain as well. Because this blockchain, it serves both these roles. It will take care of database as well as the network. So you can think of this blockchain as a network and a database at the same time. So this is the basics of this blockchain technology. So I wanted to give you this example so that you understand what exactly is this blockchain is, because as we progress in today's session, we will be defining it in an like in a theoretical manner, and I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. But I hope you now have a basic idea behind what exactly is happening in the scenario of this blockchain. I can say that this blockchain is a peer-to-peer network, meaning it is a system of nodes or computer where all of these nodes can talk to one another. Okay, so that is what this blockchain is all about. Here I'll have my Alice. So Alice, and we have got Bob. Alice connects to a node. Okay, I'll call this as P2P network or peer-to-peer network, and she connects to node, and then the Bob is going to receive the money. So the same thing will be happening over here. So it's like we've got the computer worldwide and it is replacing the bank. And this peer-to-peer network is responsible for processing the transaction so that the Alice can send the money to Bob. So she simply needs to connect to a node which is present on the network to initiate her transaction, and the blockchain, it handles the rest behind the scenes. Okay, it handles the rest behind the scenes. So at the end, Bob is going to receive the money. Okay, so this is what a high level introduction to this blockchain. So let's get started and let's see what do we have as part of our today's agenda. As part of our today's agenda, we will be learning what is this blockchain, the applications of blockchain, the technology stacks of blockchain, and I'll try to give you an overall idea about how you can set up your system, which is at a very basic level. So that's what we'll be doing in today's session. All right. So let's start by understanding what exactly is this blockchain. So we've been talking about the story where Alice, she wanted to send the money to the Bob. Now I have mentioned that instead of using the bank to complete the transaction, she can send the money with the help of Bitcoin, and she can make use of peer-to-peer network. She just has to connect to the node Instead of logging into her net banking portal, she just have to connect to the node. Instead of initiating as any EFT transaction in her internet banking, she just has to initiate a transaction in this P2P network. Okay, and here when we talk about this blockchain, so you can think of them as a database, and you can think of it as something like a server or a network. So it does the both things. So this is what we have learned right now. Now here when we talk about this blockchain, okay, as I mentioned, so Alice, so she's interested in sending the money to the bank. Now let's understand and let's examine some of the functions and its function like a database. How does this blockchain functions like a database? So here in this scenario, especially on this blockchain, each node on my network, it actually maintains the copy of the data on the blockchain. For example, they all know as how much money Alice has in her account. So what it means is, instead of bank storing all the data inside a central database, the blockchain stores it redundantly on each node in the network, which makes it virtually impossible to tamper with the data. Which means, just think about it, guys. In the scenario of bank, okay, in the scenario of bank, everything is stored in a central database. I'm not saying that it can happen, but I'm just think about hypothetically. If that central database is lost, or if someone changes the value over there in the central database, I mean, there's a chance of tampering the data over there. But when it comes to blockchain, here this blockchain stores the data redundantly on each node in the network, which actually means it's virtually impossible to tamper with the data. Which means this Alice, this Alice, she cannot modify or she cannot manipulate her account balance because all the other nodes know how much money she really has. Let's suppose if she changes her account balance in her system or in her node, she cannot prove it that that is her account balance because it will be stored in other nodes as well. So this is what one of the main feature where blockchain functioning like a database. Okay, so this is what this blockchain, guys. Now let's go ahead and let's understand what exactly is this blockchain. So when we say blockchain, people think that blockchain and the cryptocurrency are the same thing. I mean, like whenever we talk about Bitcoin or when we say blockchain, people will think that Bitcoin and blockchain both are same, or in general, cryptocurrency and the blockchain both are same. Well, guys, I want you to remember this. Blockchain and the cryptocurrency, they're not the same thing. Now, this Bitcoin that you have seen or that you have heard, which you might have heard and come across, it's actually a cryptocurrency. But blockchain that we have, it is the underlying technology behind this Bitcoin. So blockchain is the technology behind the Bitcoin. So these blockchains, they can be used for other purposes beside these cryptocurrencies as well. So usage in the cryptocurrency, it's one of the application of blockchain. Okay, it's one of the applications of blockchain, but that's not the only thing. So it's just saying that if you have a motorbike, going to the office is not the only thing that you can do. So you can use that motorbike to travel to your hometown, to go to a grocery shop, or just to roam around the city. You can do multiple things, isn't it? So you cannot just simply label that you can use the motorbike only to go to the office. So that's how silly it sounds when we say cryptocurrency and blockchain both are same. So blockchain is like a technology, and this is actually behind the cryptocurrency. Okay, now that you are clear about what exactly and the difference between the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. Okay, so if I want to describe this blockchain, okay, if I want to describe this blockchain, here what I can say is the blockchain is actually, it can be called as a spine of this entire cryptocurrency system. Here, one of the benefit of this like a blockchain is this blockchain technology not only helps with the users perform the transactions using cryptocurrencies, but it also ensures the security and the anonymity of the users who are involved. Now here, in the scenario of this blockchain, it is a continuously growing list of records and we call it as blocks. And these blocks are linked and secured using this cryptographic techniques. So a single blockchain, it can serve as an open and a distributed ledger, which can record transactions between two parties in a verifiable and permanent way. And this ledger is shared among everyone in the network and it is public for all to view, which means this brings in the transparency and the trust in the system. So this blockchain is a new way of implementing any solution or a use case, guys. Here, it's actually a concept which can be implemented by any language. And Solidity is the most preferred default whenever we are writing the programs in blockchain. Okay, now here in this term of blockchain, whenever we say it as a block is actually the current part of a blockchain which records some or all of the recent transactions, and once completed, it actually goes into the blockchain as a permanent database, and each time a block gets completed, a new block will be created. And as I mentioned already, this blockchain is typically managed by a peer-to-peer network. So collectively adhering to a specific protocol for validating a new block, and once it's recorded, the data in any block cannot be altered retroactively without the alteration of all the subsequent blocks and the collusion of the network majority, which actually means that suppose if any transaction is actually once stored in blockchain, it means they are actually permanent. They cannot be hacked or manipulated. And these are some of the main features of this blockchain. So if I want to define it right now with all the learnings and small bit of information that I just gave you, I can now say that blockchain is an immutable distributed ledger, which is used for recording the transaction, tracking the assets within the network of businesses. It's a form of storing the information which prevents anyone from changing, hacking, or cheating it. The intangible assets would include the intellectual property, patents, copyrights, and other brand assets. So this is what a blockchain is all about. It's actually a structure, I can say, which stores this transactional records, and we call this transactional records known as blocks. And it is like it will be of public in several databases, and which is actually known as chain in a connected network through peer-to-peer nodes. And typically this storage of this records which is public, we call it as a digital ledger. Okay, so this is what a blockchain is all about. And coming to this transactions in blockchain, so here in every transaction in this digital ledger which I'll be doing will be authorized by a digital signature of the owner, which automatically authenticates the transaction and also safeguards it from tampering. Hence, the information the digital ledger contains is highly secure. So you can think of this digital ledger is like a Google spreadsheet, which is shared among numerous computers in a network in which the transactional records are stored based on the actual purchases. And the fascinating angle is that anybody can see the data, but no one can corrupt it. Now, that's the best part about this blockchain transactions, which is a digital ledger. So all transactions, including the information on the time, date, participants, amount of every single transaction are logged, and each node in the network owns the full copy of a blockchain. So this is what the blockchain transaction is all about. So as I mentioned, so these blockchains are verified by the miners who maintain the ledger after solving the complex math puzzles. And the mathematical principle ensures that the nodes automatically and continuously agree to the current state of the ledger and every transaction inside it. And if anyone attempts to corrupt a transaction, the nodes will not arrive at a consensus, and hence it is going to refuse to incorporate such transactions in the blockchain. So these are some of the key features when it comes to blockchain transactions, which prevents in tampering or corrupting the data. Okay, now let's have a look at the applications of this blockchain. Here, when I talk about and when I quote back the example, that is the Alice sending the money to the Bob. So suppose you're sending your money to the family or friends from your bank account, or this Alice sending to the money to the Bob. You'll have to log into the internet banking and transfer the amount to the other person using their number. Now, when the transaction is done, the bank is going to update the transaction records, and it's very simple. But here, there's a potential issue. As I mentioned, these transactions can be tampered with in a quick manner. People who are actually familiar with this, they can actually make use of some third-party rules. And along with that, here, so they'll be able to like there's actually a vulnerability is present. And because of this blockchain digital ledger, so here, because of this, the record keeping of the data and the transaction are actually the since this record keeping and like handling the transactions are actually a crucial part of any business. So this information till now it was actually handled in-house, and sometimes it was actually passed through like brokers, bankers, or lawyers, which will actually increase the time and the cost for the business. Now, with this blockchain technology, it actually helps the businesses in avoiding the long process, and it actually facilitates the fast movement of transaction. And as a result of this, this is actually gaining the popularity because it is helping the business in saving both time as well as money. Okay, so let's have a look at the applications of blockchain. Now, when we talk about this traditional application, as I mentioned, guys, you'll have a front end, and using that front end, you are going to do something and it is going to update your server. Might be, or like you may not be directly doing it, or you may call the API, or API is is from the backend, it's going to update the server. And this is what happens in the traditional application scenario. And if a person, or if someone who is into this hacking, or like who is aware of it, how it everything happens, so there is a high chance that it can be tampered in a quick manner. So that is one of the serious issue that we have into the current application. Now, with the help of this blockchain, with the help of this digital ledger, since the ledger is stored in a redundant manner in various nodes, it is not easily possible to perform the corruption. So this is one of the main advantage of having this application as a decentralized. So because of this benefit of this decentralized system, so what it does is here, if I talk about a traditional system, not from the decentralized system, traditionally you would actually need the approval of regulatory authorities like government or bank for performing any transactions. Now, with this blockchain, you can actually do the transactions with the mutual consensus of users, resulting in smoother, safer, and a faster transaction. And that's one of the main benefit of this decentralized system. And here, another main advantage over here is it's highly secure, because this blockchain uses a digital signature, and this feature is used to conduct the fraud-free transaction, which actually makes it impossible to corrupt or change the data of an individual by the other users without a specific digital signature. And another benefit I would say when it comes to working with blockchains, guys, automation capability. So this blockchain technology is programmable and it can generate the systematic actions, events, and payments automatically when a specific trigger has been met. Okay, so these are some of the key features I would say when it comes to blockchain. Now that you have understood about what exactly is this blockchain, some of the key features of it, let's have a look at the technology stack when it comes to blockchain. See, the blockchain operates on a technology stack, which would include the user experience. It will be an UX. Okay, it will be a UX where it will take care of user experience and will have an application layer. And in the bottom, we'll have the blockchain protocol. In the blockchain protocol, we'll have some cryptography, which is nothing but the consensus rules. We'll have the P2P computer network, which includes nodes, mining, and tokens. And we also have a distributed ledger, which takes care of transaction record. And along with that, to connect everything is actually connected with the help of internet, which is my TCP/IP infrastructure. So this is how a technology stack of a blockchain would look like. So first thing is internet. See, the internet is actually a foundational technological layer. It's a network of networks where we'll have a global interconnected devices. It will be computers, smartphones, IoT devices, which relies on this internet protocol suite, that is TCP/IP, and defines how data should be packetized, addressed, transmitted, routed, and received. Okay, and on top of this, we'll have the blockchain protocol, and this blockchain protocol operates on the internet through the peer-to-peer network of computed devices that we call it as a node, which executes the protocol, completing the transactions on the basis of the cryptographic consensus algorithm. And along with that, this transactions will be completed on the identical copies of my distributed ledger of these transactions, and everything is actually hosted on a P2P network of devices. Okay, so what this blockchain protocol, what it actually builds is, it actually builds an open, shared, and trusted public ledger of transaction, which is not, yes, which is not controlled by any single entity. So these recorded transactions cannot be changed and it can be inspected by anyone. Now, then we have an application layer. So the first and the best known blockchain application, I can say it as a Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has actually developed on native blockchain protocol, and for most of its existence, except for recent changes which were introduced in the form of forks, guys. Okay. So this Bitcoin network, it actually led to the development of decentralized autonomous organization with the disintermediation in the transfer of value as currently seen in centralized financial structures with national or regional bankers or settlement agencies and financial intermediaries. So what we do is, like in this application layer, we'll have the application, guys. Okay, and that's what you can remember for a simple understanding. And coming to the user experience, so here we have the continued development of dApps. dApps is one of the new term, especially is used in the blockchain technology. dApps is also known as decentralized application, which are accessed by a specialized dApp browser on a device of our choice. So you can search more on this dApps and dApp browsers, guys. So that's how the overall technology stack of my blockchain would look like. So one of the main advantage when it comes to using this decentralized application or dApp is, so here one, it is an open source, and the another advantage is decentralized consensus, and there is no central point of failure. So these are some of the main features of this DApp, that is decentralized application. Okay, and here it is autonomy. So you're the one making the agreement. There's no need for a broker and a lawyer. The documents are encrypted on a shared ledger. The backup on the blockchain, your documents are duplicated many times over. And accuracy. So on smart contracts are not only faster but cheaper, and they also avoid the errors that arise from tedious manual work. So these are some of the important advantages of decentralized applications. Now, on the basis of blockchain, we see variety of companies have started producing the services and everything, guys. We've got Block Verify. So Block Verify is actually a solution which is based on blockchain. And here, this is an anti-counterfeit solution, which is going to help in identifying the counterfeits, non-duplicable, company verify, and it's a global solution. So this is one of the uh, application, I would say, or a product from the blockchain technology. And here, some of the things that this block verify can verify are, it can actually verify the counterfeit goods, diverted products, stolen merchandise, and fraudulent transactions. And we've got Ripple. So this Ripple is, I would say, like it's also a service. So here talking about this Ripple. So RippleNet is actually a network. Yes, it's actually a network of institutional payment, guys. And this is a decentralized global network of banks and payment providers. And here in this scenario, so like various banks and money services business use this solution developed by Ripple to provide a frictionless experience to send the money in a global manner. So this helps us in reducing the issues that we had faced earlier, that is costly. And now as a result of this, it's more reliable, very fast, ease of access, and main important security. And another feature is its low cost. Okay, next we've got StoreJ. Okay, we've got this StoreJ. Now this StoreJ is actually a fast, secure cloud storage at a fraction of cost. So that's what the official documentation of this StoreJ would say. It's an open source decentralized file storage solution. It actually makes use of encryption, file sharding, and blockchain based hash table to store the files on a peer-to-peer network. So as a result of this, the data will be private. No one can access it because you are getting the shard ability, and it's relatively fast because it is present on the peer P2P, and it is relatively cheap. And here, yes, you can shred the data. It is going to it has an amazing encryption. The data is distributed, and you can also perform the audit as well. So these are some of the key benefits of this StoreJ. Next, we've got Augur. So Augur is actually a decentralized prediction market program or a platform, and this has been built on the Ethereum blockchain. So as per I've read last time, I think this has been built by the Forecast Foundation. It was founded in the year of 2014, guys. So here it's a prediction market control owned and operated by the people that use it. So weather prediction, political forecasting, company forecasting, and event hedging. So these are some of the predictions that it can do. Okay. Now that you have seen some of the important solutions that we already have right now from the blockchain, and you have seen the importance of blockchain whenever you're starting your learning journey, especially one of the trending topics right now, which is in the industry, it's always recommended that you follow an approach which we call it as a structured learning approach. Here at Edureka, every course follows a structured learning approach, and this is a learning approach which is recommended by industry experts. Now, using this in a structured learning approach, you'll be able to progress from level 0 to level expert. Yes, you'll be able to progress from level 0 to level expert, because this is a learning journey where you'll be having with the industry expert who'll be with you in every step of the way. As part of your blockchain certification training program, in the first module, you learn about origin and the working of this blockchain. This is followed by a hands-on session, and in the second module, it's around the cryptocurrency and the blockchain. Okay, and in the third module, you'll be learning about Bitcoin platform. The fourth module, it's around Bitcoin mining. Fifth module, it's around introduction to Ethereum. Sixth module, you'll be learning about basics of Solidity, and you learn about advanced Solidity in the seventh module. In module 8, you learn to get an idea about developing a decentralized application using Truffle. And in module 9 and 10, you will learn about Hyperledger and how to create and deploy your private blockchain on a multi-chain. So this is how your learning journey would look like when it comes to structured learning approach at Edureka. As you can clearly see, this is a program which will help you to become job ready, that is industry ready in the technology of this blockchain. Okay, now moving on. So if I want to talk about some of the places where blockchain technology is used, so we've got 𝐻𝐿ANS. So 𝐻𝐿ANS is one of the job market program, or sorry, job market platform, so which is actually working completely on Ethereum blockchain with 0% service fees. So it's a future of higher work for Ether cryptocurrency. So it has got 0% service charge. It's free and it's decentralized. So it's actually a first kind of a job market platform for connecting the freelancers and the developers with its employers. And the best part is the entire database runs completely on Ethereum. So this is about the 𝐻𝐿ANS. So as a result of this, they say only cuts, no cuts, only savings. So 𝐻𝐿ANS doesn't take a percentage that you earned. So the amount of Ether the employer pays is the amount the freelancer gets. Okay, and the best part is there's no artificial cost or restriction. Everybody can apply for or create an unlimited number of jobs. So all that is needed is to pay the Ethereum gas fees associated with these operation. So that is how you'll be paying, guys. So as part of our learning journey in today's session, you have seen what exactly is this blockchain, how is it different from the traditional operation. And when we talk about blockchain, I gave an example as how it works as a database as well as a network. Then we have seen some of the applications of blockchain, and we took a few examples to distinguish between blockchain. And one more thing that we have understood is blockchain is not equal to Bitcoin. So blockchain is a technology behind these cryptocurrencies. So this is what we have seen in our learning session today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. So thank you so much for joining in, guys. I look forward to seeing you next time.